Welcome to this week's edition of Our City News.
And now, the latest news, sports, and weather with Stephanie Allison and the entire Our City News team.
Exciting news from Fitchburg High School this week. Senior Larissa Brooks has the opportunity to follow her dreams. She will be receiving a partial scholarship to a university in South Carolina. Glenn Fossa has the story. Glenn?
We do this anytime any one of our athletes receive athletic scholarship money, which Larissa has been offered, and she'll sign her letter of intent to go to Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina next year to play lacrosse.
So Larissa Brooks, of course, accepting her partial scholarship, athletic scholarship, to Catawba University. With me, head women's lacrosse coach, Rebecca Flewitt. Great to see you, Rebecca, today. Obviously a very special student, and you've got to be very proud.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her, just accomplishing her goal that she had, and I'm so happy, and I'm so glad that she's going to North Carolina.
Yeah, there's something special, of course, about Fitchburg High School and about the work that's done here. You, too, you've had your own measures of success, so you've got to see a little bit of yourself in every student.
Yeah, it's nice to see somebody like Larissa excel in school and on the field. So it's like you said, like my inner self kind of coming out.
Yeah, very, very good. And, of course, there must be some other potential Larissas in the years to come.
Yes, hopefully. I'm praying. But we'll be good. Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, hey, congratulations. This is a great feather in your cap as well. Rebecca Flewitt with us, the head coach for the women's lacrosse team here at Fitchburg High School. And we have, of course, the star of the show, as it were, Larissa Brooks. Our City News, Fitchburg Access Television continues. Great story, Larissa. You did your freshman year at St. Bernard's, and you came here to Fitchburg High School. You've had great success. Spoke to Coach just a little bit ago. This has got to be exciting for you.
Yes, it's also very nerve-wracking because I'm not used to having this many cameras around.
Yeah. Well, we'll promise to make this easy and light. Kind of your thoughts going to Catawba, the things you expect. Obviously, you've been to the university. What's exciting coming forward?
I think what's exciting the most is like starting my next 4 years in a completely new place, 13 hours away from Massachusetts, which is something I really didn't expect myself to do, but I'm going forward with it. Obviously playing lacrosse at the next level, which is something that I did not think that was going to happen at all. So I just feel really lucky to be able to take this opportunity.
Now, there will be challenges because you're going into basically folks just like yourself, at the top of the top. Mm-hmm. So that's got to be a little bit concerning, but fun as well.
Yeah, definitely. Me and my dad have actually been help training myself, because when I went down there, it was definitely a culture shock of how they run things, how they practice, their attitude, their ability. So I definitely need to keep up what I have been doing, but also step up my game in another sense if I want to compete with some of the best around.
Yeah. Fitchburg Access Television, Our City News, with FHS 2017 senior Larissa Brooks.
Thanks, Glenn, and congratulations to Larissa, and good luck on your next 4 years. The first annual Celebrity Chili Cook-Off benefit for the Caring for Kids Foundation will be held on Saturday, April 30th from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at Destare, located right on 320 Main Street, right here in Fitchburg. Tickets are available in advance or at the door. So come on down and enjoy live music from the Glue Factory and sample the chili and vote for your favorites. Enjoy a night of fundraising and help feed 215 kids every weekend throughout the school year. Raffles will also be sold. Make sure you check it out. Our very own Glenn Fossa traveled to Boston to meet with our state representative, Stephen Hay. Representative Hay is sponsoring a bill to ensure that veterans are honored upon their burial. Glenn?
So Fitchburg Access Television News, Our City News, travels to Boston to see our very own Representative Stephen Hay. Steve, great to see you today.
Morning, Glenn.
Now, I understand you're working on a veterans burial bill, very, very important legislation, and it's moving through the process. Tell just a little bit more.
We are. Bills were due a couple of weeks ago. They're in the process now of being sent out to committees, and committees are starting to have hearings. And yes, I have a veterans bill that was put in because it has to deal with veterans benefits when they pass. And lots of funeral homes are unaware of it, so they don't know to tell the veterans that they can apply for these things that save them money and help the family with the cost of burials for veterans. So we're hoping to get that to committee and get that passed so that it's required that every time a veteran passes away, their family will get documentation through the Veterans Affairs Office and through the funeral home so that they know what they're eligible for and can get help.
Yeah.
Because it's certainly earned and deserved.
Every single one of us has some connection to a veteran generally. I know my dad was eligible for the plaque, and my mom, they both served. And those are very important pieces of legislation for the common person who doesn't have this information.
Absolutely. People just don't know, so they need to be educated. And when you talk about the veterans, we're very fortunate in our neck of the woods to have the Veterans Cemetery up in Winchendon, which is a wonderful place.
Yeah, it is indeed. Now, just real quickly, it moves through a system of committees and places where people can either add or request changes. Is that right?
Yeah, it'll go to committee, and every bill goes to committee, and every bill has a hearing, has a public hearing, and people will get to come in and testify. Megan, my aide right now, is reaching out to people on all the bills that I've sponsored to say, hey, this bill's going to this committee, this is the date the hearing's going to be, you need to come in, because it is that personal testimony that really sways legislators when they're considering bills. It really makes a difference. When people come in and talk about what happens to them and how, in this instance, maybe a veteran's family didn't know and they had to absorb the costs, and, oh, if we had known that, we could have done more, or we would have done something differently. When you do that, it's important. So we'll work at getting people in on all of our bills.
Fitchburg Our City News catching our very own Representative Stephen Hay hard at work right here at the State House in Boston. Stay with us.
Stay tuned right here for more from our city.
Some people rock and some people roll. Some will make you giggle right down to your soul. So talk to the world and introduce them to you. And look at me now, I'm on Barbara and you. You gotta take a step inside the shoes of another. Get to know your neighbor, get to know one another. So talk to the world and introduce them to you. And look at me now, I'm on Barbara and you.
Neighbors are upset about the increased firearm usage at the Westminster Rod and Gun Club. After over 100 years of operation, the club has been sent a cease and desist letter from the town's building commissioner. Although the club is half the size it used to be, neighbors say the increased use is intolerable. There will be an open forum at the Westminster Elementary School on April 20th at 7 p.m. to discuss the zoning issues involving the club. If agreement cannot be reached, the outcome will be determined by the courts. Make sure you come by and support your side. The FATV Boulders Awards are coming up, and Glenn has all the information you need.
And Stephanie, I'm holding in my hand a ticket for the 21st Annual Boulder Awards, given, of course, by Fitchburg Access Television. This year, the recipient of the Boulder Award, Charles St. Amant, the editor of Sentinel Enterprise, and, of course, many, many years of his great reporters doing news and giving information to our citizens here in the city. The event, of course, is Thursday, May 11th of 2017. Cocktails at 6 o'clock, and then at 7, dinner. It's going to be a great time, but you got to get your tickets now, and now is the time. So back to you, Stephanie.
Once again, great things happening right here in the city of Fitchburg this summer, and of course, that means bike racing. Come on down and experience the 56th annual Long Joe Classic Bike Race, which brings exciting competition with elite athletes to the Twin Cities. This two-day community-hosted event will be held on June 24th from 1 to 8 p.m. in Leominster, and on June 25th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. right here in Fitchburg. Go to thelongjoe.com for more information. We'll have kids races, food trucks, and the Mayor's Charity Ride, and much, much more. Here on the phone with me today is Executive Director Don Injami. Hi, Don.
Hi, how are you, Stephanie? Thanks for having us today.
Oh, it's fantastic to have you. I really want to know what's new and exciting this year for the Long Joe.
Well, it's going to be a long list. So this year's race is sure to surpass any other previous race as far as excitement. Like you said, right away we have food trucks. We have bands that are showing up. We have partnered with the regional YMCA this year, and we're going to have a raffle. We're giving away kids' bikes also for the kids' races. As you know, in the previous years, we've had, just last year, we had over 250 kids participate in the race. And now joining in with the YMCA, we anticipate well over 300. So it's important for the parents to understand their kids will be getting flyers in school to be sent home with the instructions on how to register. And they could do this now because we just made it live. They can go to longsjoe.com under kids races, and they can register their child right now for the kids race.
That's fantastic. The kids race is one of the most fun races in my opinion. That and the mayor's race, it's pretty even.
Yeah, and this year, due to popular demand, we are bringing the mayor's back on bikes, but we're not going to race this year. This year's got a little bit of a twist. As you know, and maybe the public doesn't know yet, the race is presented by Art Long Joe Foundation, which is a nonprofit foundation that gives money back to all the facilities and nonprofits in town, the shelters and the centers and stuff like that. This year, it's going to be a mayor's ride, where Mayor Denatale and Mayor Mazzarella will be participating in a ride, a one-lap ride. But here's the key. The people now can go to longsjoe.com under Mayor's Ride. They can click and they'll see a GoFundMe page for each mayor. Here's the fun competition. The cities are in competition with each other. Minimum is a $5,000 charity and per city, and each mayor decides on what charity to give the money to. But the mayor in the city with the largest amount collected gets a huge trophy to present in City Hall for the year. They have owning rights for the year for the trophy and bragging rights. So that's pretty exciting as well. And we hope to help out a lot of the charities in town. That's
incredible, and what a great twist.
Yeah, and the mayors didn't want to race each other. So all I envision through this charity ride is they'll be like them running for office. They'll be stopping and kissing babies and, and shaking hands and stuff like that. So I imagine it's going to be a lot of fun. By all means, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have, I guess, the biggest news, if they haven't seen it in the media yet, is that we are now, USAC, USA Cycling, has put us back on the national calendar, which means we're now that's huge. We're now one of the top elite races in the country. And for people that never heard of the race, we are still the second oldest race in the country. So it's becoming quite the event in North Central Mass.
That's incredible. It's bound to be a great race this year.
Yeah, we last year's race, we had, I believe, only one category of riders that was not on a waiting list. Everybody was on a waiting list last year, every category. So it's becoming more and more popular. And I'll give you a quick anecdote, a little story that happened last year in Leominster. A gentleman had called me from Florida, and he's in his 60s, so he's in the Masters category, and he is a former professional. He had called me previous to the race looking for what hotel to stay at and so on and so forth. So I gave him the information. He sought me out at the race just to say thank you. And then I was questioning him because he was with two other gentlemen that were in the 60s and all former professionals. And I asked, I said, why did you come all the way up? You know, there are plenty of races that are non-professional in Florida. And he says, the Longs Joe race has been on our bucket list all our lives. And at that point, I realized one was from Brazil, one was from Chile, and one was from Florida. And at that point, I realized, you know, what we have. And it's time, you know, it's really important that the people of Fitchburg and Leominster really embrace this, because people around the world are embracing it, and they have been for decades. So it was a pretty touching moment in realizing that we have that kind of effect on athletes around the world. Pretty cool.
That is absolutely incredible. I mean, the Long Joe has been near and dear to everyone in Fitchburg's hearts for 56 years now.
Yeah, and this year we're kicking off again. We started last year with the Longs Joe Legends Ride, which is a non-competitive ride. We have a 25-mile and a 50-mile ride through Townsend and Ashby and so forth. We are combining this year with Minuteman Bike Club and with with Wachusett's Brewery, who also, again, is bringing back the Longs Joe Lager.
Oh, that was a big hit last year.
Yeah, they sold 5 kegs of Longs Joe Lager just within the race in Fitchburg.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, and another addition we're bringing back, another feature we're bringing back to Fitchburg is the Jumbotron TV.
That was a lot of fun last year, too.
Oh, it's great. And people, this is great, this is great. So people can sit down and they can actually watch the entire race just by sitting in front of the screen. The city of Fitchburg is providing bleachers. There's food. We'll have food trucks right across the street. They can get a cocktail at Boulder Cafe. And this year, in addition to the fun, for just fantastic coverage that FATV provides, which is really second to none, we're also looking into providing drone coverage.
Ooh.
So, this is going to be really cool. We're expanding what we do, the production of the race, and how we provide it. And more, we just want people to come out and understand it's their race in Fitchburg and Leominster. You know, it's a community race, like you said up on the front.
It is. It's a community-driven event, and the community always loves to come out and celebrate with us. I've seen it year after year, being there myself, and it's so much fun. And
just so the fans know, I've already put my order in for sunny, about 75 degrees.
Oh, you better have it, because, you know, we've had rain before, and that wasn't as much fun.
But you know, it was pretty amazing. A couple of years ago, we did have a lot of rain, and it was cold rain in Pittsburgh, but we had over 75 kids come out still for the kids race. Yeah, that's incredible. And I wasn't sure who was crazier, the kids or the parents. You know, but I'll tell you, we filled the kids race, and it was just a phenomenal experience, especially for the kids. And this year, they'll also be able to win bikes themselves. They're new bikes right through the YMCA, so it's pretty exciting. That's incredible. Well, we just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time and letting us know what's new and exciting for this year's Long Joe. My pleasure, and I look forward to being on some more of the TV shows that FATV provides in the near future for the race. Definitely. We'll see you soon, Don. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you, FATV. And stay tuned for more from Our City News.
It's amazing the number of people you see, cell phones, texting and driving. There's a set of lights that's blinking, and there's a flashing sign that says 20, and then there's what's called static signs that say 20 miles an hour as well. I would say the majority of speeders are on their cell phone talking about nonsense, and when you stop them, they're shocked. Why'd you stop me? And when you ask them, do you know what the speed limit is? No. And you could be right underneath the speed sign because they're so fixated on that cellular phone, whether it's texting or whether it's just talking about nothing. You know, when you think about it, 10, 15 years ago, you didn't have a cell phone. Things waited. It was a calmer society. The other thing is, do you know what the speed limit was?
No, I think it's 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, do we know how fast we were going? We were doing 34.
The reason I'm pulling you over for is because your vehicle's expired.
Expired?
Yeah. Revoked for insurance.
Insurance? So we're going to go take some photos of the scene for the investigating officer. You know why I pulled you over? Yeah, as long as everything's active, just giving a warning, but we have accidents at an intersection, trying to enforce some of that. But everything is active on your car, ma'am? Yes, license and everything like that? Yep, this is the correct one. Absolutely. Okay, if you wanted to sit tight, I just want to run some stuff, and I'll be right back, okay? Thank you.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Executive Office of Public Safety, specifically Secretary Bennett, for his continued support in providing necessary funding to the City of Fitchburg on our concentrated efforts on traffic enforcement. Every day, the men and women of the police department are out there working hard to make sure that the people are safe as they operate through the streets of the City of Fitchburg. We couldn't do that without the support of the Executive Office of Public Safety. And once again, a sincere thanks to Secretary Bennett and his continued support for the City of Fitchburg.
Recognizing Fitchburg High School students who have been awarded the Dell Scholar Program. Here's FHS Studios' Erin Michaela Watson for more.
While many students dream of obtaining a college degree, life sometimes gets in the way, particularly for those dealing with personal responsibilities at home or in their communities. The Dell Scholars Program, an initiative of the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, recognizes students who have overcome significant obstacles to pursue their education. In turn, these scholars serve as positive role models and change the trajectories for their siblings, friends, and their communities. The Dell Scholars Program has selected 4 FHS students from only 400 students nationwide as Dell Scholars 2017 recipients. Shakina Alaziz, Samari Guzman, Jillian Wolins, and Shalana Gordon have all earned this recognition due to their hard work and commitment to their community. The fact that 4 students from our school received this recognition demonstrates the power of our school's education and the possibilities that exist for those who work hard and commit to their own personal growth and improvement.
Wrapping things up for today, we have a great tribute to Arthur Longjo of Fitchburg. He's the namesake of the Longjo bike race. Let's take a look.
The story of the Longjo starts with the man behind the name, Arthur Longjo. A Fitchburg native, he started his training in a local sports club, which did track and field meets in the summer and speed skating in the winter. In 1953, Art took up cycling and entered the Massachusetts State Cycling Championships. Wearing cut-off skating tights, a white tennis shirt, and penny loafers, he stole the win, qualifying him for the National Amateur Bicycle League of America, where he placed 9th. In 1956, he was the first person to compete in both the Winter Olympics for speed skating and the Summer Olympics for cycling. due to a knee injury, he was never able to win a medal. Art's best race was in 1958 in eastern Canada, where he won the 500-mile Tour de Saint Laurent and the 191-mile race between Quebec City and Montreal, which he won for the second time. Tragically, on the way home from Canada on the outskirts of Burlington, Vermont, Art was killed in a car accident at the age of 26. The news would shock the city of Fitchburg that their beloved athlete had been taken far too soon. In honor of this great athlete, the city started a great tradition that would continue for over 50 years. The memory of their favorite son would live on in the race we know today as the Longjo Classic, a tradition that started in the city of Fitchburg in 1960 to honor this great athlete and Olympian.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of Our City News. I'm Stephanie Allison. To see more FATV programming, you can go on to fatv.org to catch up with all of your favorites or even catch up with Our City News. If you have a story you'd like to suggest for us, you can check us out on Facebook at Our City News Fitchburg and email us at ourcitynewsfitchburg@gmail.com. Make sure you tune in for all of the great programming right here on FATV. Have a great day.